right? That's why you're here. All right, I understand it. And the flows. All right, so that should have taken care of any issues you might have had. Let me do one more thing here just to make sure that I like what I'm seeing. Give me one sec, fam. Let me see one more thing here. Think we good? I think that's good. I think I'm okay with that. If not, we can change that. It's very cinematic looking, but we can change that maybe later. Good morning to you. So let me know if you have any issues. Nat's in the house, writes, good hump day choppers. Good morning to you, Nat. Now, yesterday was the My Legacy Matters. I'm going to circle back around and talk with Rosemary and see how the event went. That was yesterday. You know, we spent some time promoting that here on the show over the last few weeks. It was yesterday, June 22nd. Hope it went well. Hopefully that the information was able to reach the people that needed it the most. All right. Brenda Rice sounds good. Yeah, if you're on Spreaker or TuneIn, some of the issues that we have from time to time with Facebook and YouTube it's not going to affect that. It's a whole different network with a whole different set of circumstances, and it just doesn't affect that. The only thing would affect that is that we're having equipment issues, which, you know, hell, can happen. But for the most part, that won't be affected. All right. So good day. Good happy hump day to you, Nat. Appreciate you. Go ahead and share the show as much as possible so people know that we're on. It's very, very important. And share the show back on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you think it might be relevant and you can share it. I appreciate you in advance. And I want to talk about the controversy surrounding this trailer. I think it's interesting. I think we should talk about this, quite honestly. If anybody's going to talk about it, should be us. And if you haven't seen the trailer, it reminds me of one of those movies where you have it reminds me of one of those movies where you have a neighbor that's acting badly. There's a couple movies out there like that where that's kind of the theme, where the neighbor is just for whatever reason on some dumb ish, right? And my question is, have you ever had a run-in with a Karen? And if so, tell me all about it. What happened? What did you do? Did you record it? You know, that's the disinfectant for Karens. The disinfectant for Karens is you videotape their ass. That's what you do. That's how you deal with that. If you're not willing to do that, then I mean, quite honestly, you become part of the problem. Sad to say, but that's essentially what it is. You become part of the problem. And if you haven't seen the trailer, stick close. I'll play it for you in a second. I want to start there with that. Also, there's a disturbing video showing a California deputy who's now under investigation because in the video, it shows him kicking a man who had already surrendered. He'd already surrendered. And not only did he kick the man, but he wound up. Got a real good a lot of momentum and kicked the man while he was surrendering. And the man happened to be black. And I'm not sure if you've seen it, but that video is out there right now and we'll talk about it. Apparently, this black man fled on a high-speed chase. He ran through multiple red lights. He entered an interstate highway going the wrong direction and nearly collided with multiple vehicles before ditching the motorcycle, right, and fleeing on foot. The police chased him, and when they found him, one of the officers decided that I guess he was in his feelings. I wanted to teach him a lesson or whatever. And he kicked the man while he basically had already surrendered. That the deputy, as I said, now has been is under investigation. He's under investigation. And all I can say is thank God for surveillance tapes. Thank God for the surveillance society, which actually came up in the law and public safety meeting just yesterday. We'll talk about it because there was a conversation about what to do about the violence that's happening in the streets. And I'll give you, a matter of fact, I got the video for you as well, and we'll talk about that. It was our chief of police, Chief Elliot Isaac, who is an African-American. He is a black man. And he was talking about what he is going to do and how the Cincinnati Police Department is going to strategize on this. All right. I also saw a clip of this man is a member of the Cincinnati. He's a citizen. I think it's fair to say that he's active, and he's also running for city council. And he got some screen time this week talking about the issue. And he said that Cincinnati basically isn't making investments with certain people and in certain neighborhoods. And that's on some levels what's leading to the ongoing violence. So I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this morning. Again, 513-873-7134. But again, thank God for the surveillance society, because whether it be police officers acting badly or Karens acting badly, if we didn't have the video and photographic evidence, then in most cases, these individuals would never be brought to justice or deal with any consequences whatsoever. Right? Hey, what's up, Nappy Roops? Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Appreciate you. Hey, listen, when you're on YouTube, is YouTube giving you the proper notification? Is that how you're finding the show? Or are you just waking up like 7:30? Nate must be on. I'm really curious. I'm very, very curious about that. Let me know. Again, 513-873-7134. Let me know that. And if we have any tech issues this morning, have any issues, please let me know. We'll try to take care of them ASAP. We'll take care of them ASAP. Rocky, we got you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And again, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. I know that the Urban League of Cincinnati and also the NAACP are teaming up. They're going to be taking a busload of people starting tomorrow up to Columbus so that they can get public testimony about a bill that people are saying would be basically voter suppression. And speaking of voter suppression, the Republican Party shows their true colors once again. I want to make sure people understand where I'm coming from when I talk about Democrats and Republicans. It's my job to teach. There is a difference between the two parties. Neither of the two parties has delivered the equity policy intangibles that we deserve and demand, but have yet organized successfully to take. Neither of the parties has successfully delivered for us. But one of the major political parties is on 100% some dumb-ish all the time, every day when it comes to us. And that would be the Republican Party. Have you heard the latest? Oh, yeah. All 50 senators got together and said, you know what? We don't even want to have debate on a bill that would bring more equity to voting and protect your voting rights. And the reason why is pretty simple. Keep watching. I'll share with you here in a couple minutes. I'll share it with you. Tabitha writes, I'm getting a notice from YouTube, but the bell doesn't ring. Mike Will writes, I get the notification. Okay. Mays writes, for the most part, I receive notifications. Okay, great. Terrence writes, organize. Great. Terrence writes, my notification for your show pops up. Great, that's where I want to be. Nat writes, every time there's a crime spike, we want to bring out the Band-Aid approach. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Nat, you so and right. You are so right. Every time there's crime, it hits the media, people react, then we get a knee-jerk Cincinnati reaction, which typically is tantamount to a Band-Aid. That's typically what we get. It's typically when we get a Band-Aid solution that'll pacify the situation for a little while until the Bengals can start playing, and then until the football season starts, and then most people just get distracted by football and nobody gives a damn until the next hot summer. I've been seeing this cycle my whole life. Now, that's not to say that there aren't a lot of good people that care and are dedicated and are doing good work in the city. But I'm talking about what I typically see in terms of the response from the politicians. That's what I'm talking about. Like the people, I know better than that. Black folks in Cincinnati are sick and tired of it. Some are more close to dealing with it on an everyday basis than other. But I don't know any black folks in Cincinnati that are not happy, or that are not unhappy about what they see. None at all. Jerome writes, I get a notification. Great. Jenny writes, I will have to figure out how to turn on YouTube notifications specifically for your show. Okay. You know what? I may do a little video, a how-to video on that. I was just talking with the wifey about that. So, you know what? You might have to teach people how to find you on YouTube, which seems very strange to me because it's YouTube. But okay, if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. But essentially what you do is you go to the Nathan Ivey Show, Nathan Ivey channel, go to my channel, and you go to the main part of the channel. and where you can see like home and videos and playlists, and you see the banner. And on the right hand side, you're gonna well, you can even do it in the video itself, actually. Like in each individual video, there's a notification to the right side. It's below me to the right, and just click on all notifications. There's like a little bell there, and then you'll get notifications. Oh, she says the notifications are turned off because I was receiving too many. I'm not sure what you can do about that. I think the only thing you can do is to, like, if you get notifications on shows that you don't really care about, then delete them. I'm not sure if you can. I don't know. I don't know. I have to double check on that. I'm not sure if you can turn them all off and then turn one or two on. I think the way you have to do it is go in individually and individually turn on the notifications for the ones that you want. And so what that means, having thought about it, is all you have to do is just turn on notifications for this show. That's all you really have to do to, and that should be good enough. And then hit the bell. Let me see. Tabitha writes, let's talk about gun violence. What's in the collaboration book about this? Okay, we can definitely get into that. Definitely. But first, I want to talk about this Karen movie and what everybody's saying about it. Some people are saying, how many people are hip to Jordan Peele? He's the brother that was in Key and Peele, which I never watched. To me, it never was funny to me. I tried it. I tried it. You got these two brothers. I wanted to get into it. I could never get into it. But since then, he's went on to be to really make a name for himself as a film director, particularly in the horror genre, which for somebody like me is great news because I love great horror movies. I thought the Get Out was a great addition to the horror genre, and it had social commentary in really deep ways. It was so fun to go back and look at the Easter eggs, all the little clues that the director put in there that have some kind of meaning. That when you watch it for the first or second, maybe even third time, you miss. But in the culture we have now, especially with YouTube, people make channels about Easter eggs and they break it all down and break out whatever. Everything has some kind of meaning to it. That's one thing I've learned about good art. With good art, there is no coincidence. Nothing is left to chance. If you're looking at a painting, every brush stroke is there for a reason. The color, the texture, it's all there for a reason. It's all a part of the art. It all means something in the mind of the artist. The same thing with a fine film. Every detail, every shot, what's in the background, the colors, the shadows, the music, um, everything means something, right? If you're dealing with good fine films. But people are saying that it's a knockoff of that movie. The trailer for Karen appears to be a knockoff of Jordan Peele. And I guess I didn't really pick up on that too much. I guess if that's what you want to say, I didn't really see the connection between the two other than maybe the lighting of it a little bit. But I'm gonna go back and watch it again with you right here, right now. And for the people that might have missed it yesterday, and we can talk about it right here. And I'll look forward for that in particular. But I didn't really see that. So it appears that in the movie, a black couple moves into a nice neighborhood. They had a big old home, got a big old home in a nice neighborhood, living their African American dream, and their neighbor has a problem with it. And so it seems as if she starts some dumb ish to try to get them to move out, which is probably a story that is not too uncommon, right? Knowing American history that we do the way that we do. But I'm going to look at it one more time and kind of look for some different things. Some people are saying that this is black trauma. People are saying, look, we don't want black trauma cinema. We don't want black trauma media, right? Like, and what they mean by that, in my opinion, is they're saying it's yet another movie that shows the prolonged suffering of black people for no real point. They're saying that's not what I picked up on it. To me, it seemed like it was more social commentary, which I love that kind of media. I love those kind of comics. I love media that can do two things at one time. One, entertain me and keep my attention. And then two, media that can speak about what's happening in the world around us. All right. I love when creatives can do both of those things at one time. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I do that. Okay. That's how I looked at it. But let's take a look at it one more time, folks. And you tell me what you see. Okay, rotate.
Guess this is a long way from East Point.
Baby, you just gotta give it a chance.
Tell me about your new neighbors.
They're black. Do you mind keeping it down? If you don't comply, I'll tell the manager.
Somebody's taking home security serious.
Hi, I am Karen Drexler. I'm your neighbor. You need to be taking your trash cans off the curb right when the trash is picked up.
Is she nice?
Yeah, she's nice.
Wait a minute. We have a white entitled neighbor named Karen.
Karen. Okay, enjoy yourself.
There she is, slaving away in the kitchen. I've come across some very suspecting teenagers.
Suspecting?
Can you please hurry up? Please, they're very aggressive, yep.
I left my wallet with my ID at home. Leave us alone, we didn't do anything!
How the heck did you end up moving to this neighborhood? Next thing you know, we have criminals. You take care of him, and I will take care of her.
Would you mind stepping out of the car?
My office has uncovered some disturbing information on her and her brother.
She doesn't like black people.
We have a search warrant.
Well, I'm black.
I know, she doesn't like you either.
I want to sell the house.
What'd I do? You can't tell me, huh?
We are living next door to a racist. You went in her house?
You wouldn't want your wife to know our little secret, right?
That was not standard police procedure back there.
What do we have here?
When you got a hammer, everything looks like nails.
You people are very angry.
Shut your mouth, boy.
Bad things happen to people that don't comply.
They are crazy for this, man. Bad things happen to people that don't comply. I mean, the movie is straight up, you know, because you hear that a lot. You hear that a lot. Like when an unarmed black person gets shot or roughed up by the police, you hear people say things like, well, all you have to do is comply. So it's interesting they use some of that language in this movie as well. And then like the iconography or the logo with the word Karen and then the A is a silhouette of her standing there. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. Is it on BET? I'll double check and make sure. I'll let you know exactly when it's out and where you can see it. But that is hilarious, man. That is hilarious. You know, I laugh because nothing is funnier than the truth. And there was some real truths that came out in terms of like the social commentary aspect of it. But my question for you is, have you ever had a run-in with a Karen? And if so, tell me all about it. I want to hear all about your run-in. What did she do? What was the circumstances? What did you do? Can you be a black Karen? Can you be a black Karen? Because the word Karen implies white female, but can you be a black Karen? I'd like to know. You tell me. Good morning. I had to tell my little boy to go upstairs. He's trying to come down here. This ain't for the kids. This is a grown folks show right now. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Terrence writes, they must end the filibuster. Yeah, they should. But the Democrats are scared. They're scared because if they end the filibuster and then the Republicans take over the Senate, then the Republicans will just be able to go past any little goofy ass thing they want. But what I say is that Biden is not going to repeat if he don't deliver equity policy intangibles. It's not going to happen. And voters don't want to hear, oh, well, we couldn't because of the filibuster. Nobody wants to hear that. You got to deliver. And if they got to deal with the filibuster in the future, that's in the future. Deal with it right now in the filibuster. Start pushing through your legislation. And then in 2024, and you'll have something to run on. That's just my thoughts. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan, this is David Whitehead. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? Doing great, David. Good morning.
Hey, good to see you this morning. I just had to call in because there are black Karens, unfortunately. I just built my house, and when I was building my house, the black Karen was, first off, I used a black contractor. So questioning the black contractor whether or not they had were if this was their first time doing the job, which was amazing. And then when I finally started coming over during the construction build, the woman was questioning me in regards to what I was doing over there. And once we finalized and we start putting our landscaping in, and I just told her how I like to work in my yard, she's like, "Good. I was hoping you would keep the grass cut." And it's just crazy. I mean, it's a little different now with her, but my first impression was that, dang, am I dealing with Karen? And this woman happens to be black.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I got this morning. It's a messed up issue. We kind of get in a mindset where we expect different than what we're looking at, prejudging people. And it's just real unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what I got this morning. What you were talking about just struck a nerve pretty bad. So,
hey, David, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Hang up and listen.
Yeah,
Thanks,
most def. So black Karens are real, huh? If you got black Karens, that means you got black Darrens. I mean, you tell me. Have you ever had a run-in with a Karen? That's what I'd like to know. That conversation, that question is sparked by this brand new movie of the same title, Karen. Look at her. She got look at that on the left-hand side right there, got a pistol out, all crazy-eyed. And look at the K right there. What is that? Is that blood? Damn, Karen. Now, some people say this is black trauma cinema. Like, here we go again with another movie showing black people struggling and traumatized and prolonged suffering. I like to know if you think about that. That's a term that people use now for certain movies and also certain viral videos. Like, some people, when you have these video police shootings of unarmed black people, they don't want to watch it. They don't want to promote it because they think they call it black trauma porn. They say that's how the white supremacists look at it. Like, they really getting off on it. So what we have to do is to not be a part of it and not show it. I want to get is that how you feel about those kind of videos? I already told you, I'm a member of the media. I feel differently about it. I feel like you're educating people. And I feel like, we sanitize things too much. We need to see exactly what happened so people can see how horrific it is. So people can see how bad it really is. And then maybe we can change some things. But what do you think? What has been your experiences? Tabitha writes, we don't need a Karen movie unless it's a documentary to teach Congress about how we dealing with Karen issues and change some laws. Other than that, they just capitalizing off of our backs. Okay. So Tabitha says we don't need it. In the movie industry, we'll say this is BET, which is owned by Viacom, Black Entertainment Television, that they're just capitalizing off of our pain. I hear you. I feel differently. I don't know if I think it's capitalization. Like, you ever heard this term, like, art imitates life and life imitates art? That's how I look at it. Filmmakers have been looking at the real world, life, and creating art based upon it for years. And why not make a movie like that? And the other reason why I'm not upset with it is because through the annals of American film history, right, filmmakers have been taking everyday, ordinary black people and making them the scary boogeyman for years and years and years. Just normal black folks, thugs, dope dealers, murderers, rapists, birth of a nation, right? Old bug-eyed, right? Full of lust in your heart for white flesh, right? They've been doing that with us for years. So now finally you get a movie that just takes an ordinary white woman. She just Karen. She could be any white woman, caught up in her feelings, and she is in this role as the villain simply because of her racial animus. I ain't upset with that. I think it fits the current narrative, quite honestly. One, because Karens are real. Matter of fact, I can show you a video right now of a Karen calling folks the N-word and following folks, all up in folks' business. Like, this ain't nothing that ain't fake. This is like a real-time issue that we in the internet community have been dealing with. We talk about these videos, we see these videos. Some of these women become famous. I love it when a Karen goes all off and then it gets back to her employer and they get fired. Those are my favorite Karen clips. I love those clips. I'm here for all of it. Oh, you lost your job, boo. Oh, Karen then lost your job. In fact, it's not just me. There's a popular sort of style of video that's out on TikTok primarily right now. When the situation happens just like I described it, where you got a Karen behaving badly, it gets back to the employer fires them, and people put up these videos where they're singing, "You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job." I mean, it's just part of the culture we live in now. It's part of the internet culture, right? It's part of that internet community. And I'm here for all of it. Like I told you, those are my favorite. I love those videos. I love it. Like the woman up in New York in Central Park, when it came out that she was losing her job, I loved it. I was here for it. That's what should be happening. Karens should lose their positions. How you gonna be a professional and you out here in these streets acting like a damn Karen? There should be some consequences behind it. I got no problem with it. But what about you? You can share your thoughts by jumping into the chat and leaving a comment, question, whatever. I'm down for it. Or you can simply give us a call at 513-873-7134 this morning. Hope you are doing well. I'm doing fantastic. And it's always great to see you. Terrence writes, I really think the intent of this film is to demonstrate a growing issue that blacks face. I think it's exposure, not reliving trauma. I agree with you, Terrence. To me, I like the way you put it, exposure. Flavor 411 writes, good morning, aka David Whitehead. We heard from David Whitehead earlier. He shared his black Karen story. Are black Karens a real thing? Can a black person be a Karen? Have you ever had a run-in with a Karen? If so, I'd love to hear your comment. I'd love to hear what happened. Again, I'm just into an interesting story. A friend once told me that a good story is a currency in heaven. Okay, great. Nothing wrong with it. Hit me with a good story this morning. Tiffany writes, good morning. Eloise writes, good morning. D. Erkins writes, I wonder if this actress brought out some of her real feelings. Now, the woman that plays Karen, as it turns out, people are saying that she's a Trumpster. They're saying that she has a history of supporting Trump, like on social media, like, yeah, I'm down with Trump, which ain't gonna go so well in certain circles. It just ain't gonna go well. And so she's a out of the closet Trumpster, and now she was tapped to play the title, the title role of Karen in the movie Karen. So I don't know. She might have. I mean, a good actor or actress taps into something, right, in order to give a good performance. It'll be really interesting to see. I don't know. I think that's a good question, though. Terrence writes, with the blood dropping from the K, right, got the blood coming down. I mean, just to illustrate just how serious this is. And again, I've seen a lot of movies like this. Like, I've seen a movie where this black couple, Megan Good was the wife, and she was looking good, by the way. She was looking good. And she jumped, she was in a relationship with her husband. They moved next door to a white male played. No. They moved into his house. He sold the house, right? And dude was just popping up. He wanted to sleep in his bed and eat out of the refrigerator. Like, he was obsessing over him for some reason. And I've seen these other movies where, it's like the family moves into the neighborhood, like white family, and there's like this crazy neighbor. Neighbor turns out to be a serial killer or something like that. Turns out to be a vampire. The guy next door is a vampire, and now your mom's in love with him because he glammed your mom, and you got to save her before he becomes one of the living dead, all this kind of stuff. I've seen that kind of stuff. So to me, this kind of fits in that kind of vein. Crazy neighbor. One of those crazy neighbor movies. And she's crazy because of race. Did you see the part in the clip where she came over? They must have invited her over. And she was like, oh, I see you slaving in the kitchen. And she looked at her like, what? I will beat the brakes off of you. What the hell? Because some people think they slick. They try to like slide little things in and things like that. You know how some people can be. Very interesting though. Tanika writes, I want to see it, LOL. I'm gonna see it. Ain't no I want to see it. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it. And it's being called a horror movie. And that's the other reason why I like it. Because think about this, family, right, wrong, or whatever. What this horror movie is saying is that the monster is the white female. I'm just saying. It's not a killer clown. It's not a ghost. It's not aliens. It's not the creature from whatever would they get the creature from. It's not Mothra. It's a white female. Just an average, ordinary, suburban, professional white female. I think that's interesting commentary, quite honestly. I think that's very interesting if like people can step away from it and just look at it and like think about that. Like I said, a good film to me delivers some social commentary. And this movie is saying that there's a problem in the neighborhood and it ain't us. That's very interesting. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Yo, good morning. Okay, they hung up. Yeah, there's a horror movie called Karen coming out, and the trailer is very interesting. Very interesting. And for years and years and years, like I told you, man, I spent a lot of time in this film thing, and talking with film critics and really studying it and really thinking about it and looking at what cultural critics and how they would critique things. And for years and years and years, every ordinary black dude was subject to be cast as the boogeyman. In general, America, right, and American racism cast us as the boogeyman in America's narrative. We were the monsters. Gold chains, sagging jeans, do-rags, like everything that we do, some in this culture try to criminalize it. In fact, our very bodies have been criminalized, just our image, for years and years and years. You didn't have to be just every ordinary black dude, just run-of-the-mill, average Joe Blow black dude and woman in Americana, in American cinema, was subject to be cast as the boogeyman, as the monster, right? As the evildoer. Okay, we know that. In this movie, it's the exact opposite. And some would say it's very appropriate. Very appropriate. Let me see. Fame writes, don't nobody want to see that Brandy writes, I'm glad the Karens of the world will get such a platform. Maybe they will check themselves. Sister Iris writes, that movie City Council gave $50K for security is Black Trauma, a white side with his black girlfriend who eats people, filmed in Cincinnati. Is that right? $50K for security? You can get that from City Council? The hell? D. Erkins writes, she's a real Karen. A Trumpster fits the profile. Absolutely. Ryan writes the filibuster. We'll talk about that. Yeah. If the Democrats don't do it with the filibuster, they're not going to get anything done. I told you so. See, a lot of people thought that what the Republican Party was doing to Obama, they were only doing it to him because he was black. I told you then, no. Him being black is just a bonus. This is a partisan thing. The fact that Barack Obama was just a bonus. Mitch McConnell is going to do that. If he's in that position with any Democrat president, he's going to do the same thing. It was only more palatable and more acceptable because Obama was a black man. He could get it off easier to his constituents. But if the Democrats don't end the filibuster, you talk about a horror movie, it's going to be a horror movie come next in 4 years because he's not going to be reelected. It's going to be, let me say that, it's going to be a tough road. The people want equity, policy, intangibles. I hear people talking about, well, Congress all the time. To me, it seems like a large percentage of people they don't care about the details, right? They don't want to hear the details about how there's a 50-50 split and you got to have the threshold of at least 60 votes if you want to beat the veto and have the Democrats just don't have the numbers. They don't give a damn about none of that. A lot of voters voted for Joe Biden because he said he was going to do some things, and they're looking for him to do it, period. And they don't care how he does it. My sense is Americans don't give a damn about the filibuster. All they care about is equity, policy, and tangibles. Are you going to deliver? And you got some Democrats running around, I don't want to do this. I don't think we should do this. Most notably, you got two. You got two Democrats in the Senate that are against ending the filibuster, and one of them is in West Virginia, the other one is in Arizona. I'm with you on that all day. Deshauna writes, good morning, Nathan and all. Good morning to you. Adele writes, are all white women Karens? No, but all Trumpsters are Karens. I know that's a broad brush, but that's how I see things right now. Sister Irish writes, the movie The City just got 50K. Okay, I think I read it already. Let's go back to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm listening to what you're saying, and you're absolutely right about people just want to vote for Joe Biden and say, oh, Joe Biden saved us. Basically, it's what a lot of people believe once they cast that presidential vote and walk out. You know, it's like you got to learn the rules of the game in order to play the game. Otherwise, you're playing the game all wrong. You got to have 60 votes to do business, period, in the Senate. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been, unless they want to go nuclear, okay? And see, Charles Schumer don't want to go nuclear because once he does that, the majority they have so fragile with the vice president that they could very easily lose the Senate next year, and then the Republicans go nuclear, you know, but they don't have to go nuclear because, hey, they know that you got to do 60 votes, so they can stall whatever Joe Biden wants to put out here. So all this rhetoric about, you know, Joe Biden going to save us from this, that, and the third, you got to understand the rules of the game. And people just don't, they want to ignore that. And it's frustrating to me as a black man because I watch this stuff, you know, and people are saying, well, why come Joe Biden ain't doing nothing? Because he ain't got the votes to do anything. You know, this John Lewis voting rights bill and all that. It sounds great, don't it? Oh, the federal government's going to come in and make sure our elections are free and fair. Well, you got to have 60 votes to federalize these elections. Otherwise, they're localized. They're ran by the state. And who runs the state, Nathan Ivey?
We both know the Republicans.
Of course we don't. But see, me and you know that. But see, I'm afraid that a lot of the listeners don't get that. Or they want to change the narrative, you know, and make it about the Republican boogeyman. It's not about that at all. It's about they control the governor's mansion, they control the Ohio House of Representatives, and they control the Ohio Senate. Matter of fact, you got a Republican that's the Secretary of State who oversees the election. When was the last time we had a Democratic Secretary of State?
It's been a minute.
Man, I can't think of one. I mean, I remember the last black Secretary of State was Ken Blackwell, and that was like damn near 20 years ago.
Correct.
You know, so everybody has to understand one thing, Nathan Ivey, and I learned this from the vice mayor of this great city, Cincinnati, Christopher Smithman. All politics are local. Okay? He quoted that from Tip O'Neill back in the 80s when Reagan was in charge. All politics are local. You understand? That's just how it is. Local politics touch us the most because this is our backyard. And if you don't run your backyard, you don't run a damn thing. That's what I learned when I was a kid. If you don't run your street, you don't run any. You can't run the city unless you run your street. You can't run the neighborhood unless you run your street. This is how it is, people. So, you know, it segues into today. we're going to pass a budget. Our city council going to pass a budget today that reflects the values of purportedly this city, because we elected these individuals, at least most of them. So, people, you better get involved in your local politics. That's the only way you're going to see change in your neighborhood. If you don't, then people like me are going to control your neighborhood. Because guess what? In 2017, only 29% of the neighborhood, or of the city rather, voted. I heard some guy who lives in Warren County try to tell the audience that the voting percentage was like 21% in our city. He don't even live here, okay? He don't even understand the nature of our politics, but he wants to give false information to this show. His name's Glenn from Mason. I'll just call his name out. Don't call this show and give my people in this city false information, sir. You don't even live here. You want to try to tell us that our voting rate is smaller than what it is. Like, that makes no sense to me. I know it's 29%. I had to show this to my brother because he likes to trust people when they call into your show. Terrence will tell you himself that he saw the number is 29% in 2017. That people like Glenn from Mason lied to our community about our local politics. Now, he want to have at it with the federal politics and talk bad about Trump and talk about Joe Biden. That's cool, bro. Cool story. But the reality is that stuff in Washington, D.C. ain't really moving anything here in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the city proper. Okay? People got to get involved. We got an election coming up for school board. We have an election coming up for city council. And if I'm not mistaken, a majority of the school board seats are up. I want to say 4 people are up for, 4 seats are up.
Yeah, 4 seats are up.
Yes,
that's majority up.
Right. So think about it, Nathan Ivey. If people exercise their right to vote and push this number of 29% up to about 35, 40%, 45% turnout, think about how our school board would look, considering that we're almost half of the city of Cincinnati is African American. I mean, think about Gabriel Tay when you go to the polls. If you decide you don't want to vote this coming November in the local elections of the school board, put Gabriel Tay's face on your mind. Tay, excuse me, I don't want to mispronounce the young man's name. God rest his soul. But Nathan Ivey, me and you can disagree on a lot of stuff, and sometimes we agree on stuff. But I think we can agree that 29% voter turnout is totally unacceptable in the city of Cincinnati, of a city of 300,000 people. We can agree on that, right?
I agree with you, yeah.
I mean, vote how you want to vote, okay? But I can just say this, 29% turnout in 2017, totally unacceptable.
I think it'll be higher this year.
Government, I'm not so sure, Nathan. Unfortunately, I want to believe you, but I just know the numbers.
I think it'll be higher.
For information, we'll see. I don't know.
I'll tell you why. I think it's going to be higher because we're seeing history, right? We're seeing history in terms of the entire council is going to be new. It's going to be one person, Grand Landsman, who is running as an incumbent who won an election. So you got 8 seats up, and I think knowing that is going to bring
9 seats
different folks up.
You got 9. Yeah.
I mean, it's 9 seats, but he's an incumbent. So I'm like, it's 8 seats that are going to be open in terms of there's not a previously elected incumbent, right?
Okay, I'll rock with you on that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that people's knowledge, I think that fact is going to drive people out because they're like, oh, we can redo Congress. I think with the old characters, folks has been on council for 10 years, 8 years. I think a lot of people just sick of them, whether they like them or not. They just want to see something new. And so I think it'll be above 30.
I have my doubts. I hope you're right, but the reality is, and look, and the reason I ain't meaning to cut you off when you said that 8 seats are up, I'm going to simply say that 9 seats are up because look, Greg Lansing was 7th last time, and considering his whole first term of council, because remember, he's only 1 term in, he got a 4-year term. I'm not so sure that his seat stayed, considering that he was definitely involved in this Gang of Five stuff. I don't think
how was he involved?
Away.
He sent some text messages. That was it.
It's not it. He had to go testify before the grand jury on this matter, him and Wendell Young. Now, Wendell Young's out the door, but there was no other member of the Gang of Five that had to go testify before a grand jury.
Yeah, but he wasn't indicted on anything. So what? He testified before the grand jury. He wasn't indicted.
But you have people who go before grand juries all the time. He was involved. He's basically an unindicted co-conspirator.
I'm
This is
not
how
sure.
this works, bro. Yeah, he had to testify about his illegal behavior.
I
I
don't
want
care.
to
I don't
get off
think
in the
that
Greg
people are going to
Landsman.
hold that against him because he wasn't charged with
You'd
anything
be surprised.
individually.
It doesn't matter. But he had to go before a grand jury, bro, and testify.
I know you're trying to make a big deal out of that, man, but I think generally speaking, nobody really cares about the text messaging thing. Nobody really cares.
But there's a lot of voters that do. I'm telling you, bro.
And that most people are not going to hold it against Greg Landsman because he testified before the grand jury. I don't think most people are going to care about that, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, again, 29% voter turnout was 2017. You know, and people ain't gonna I don't think people gonna let this go, bro. I mean, his first term has been a disaster.
I think people have already let it go, and most people never latched onto it. I think it's just a few people like you and others. But the vast majority of people I talk to don't give a damn about no text messages. It's
but
a
you know what?
non-issue.
Those people don't vote, bro. This is my point.
All the people I talk to vote.
Full circle.
All the people I'm talking about vote. And none of the people around me are saying anything about no damn text messages. Nobody cares because they see it for what it is. It was, nothing but a political maneuver. They see it for what it is.
Bro, half of those people have been indicted. Okay, yeah, a gang of 5.
But they weren't indicted related to the text message. Only Wendell Young was. And even in that case, I think the sense that most people have is this is some of that politicking, Republicans versus Democrats, and there's really no substance to it. In fact, look at Wendell Young.
Like
we're about to spend a lot of money for a court trial in, I think, September. I think it's September. And nothing's going to happen. He's probably going to walk out of there. It's going to be more wasted time and energy at taxpayer expense.
Hey, we don't know what a jury's going to do. Okay? That's what the unpredictability of a jury. Jury might find him guilty. Jury might not find him guilty. Okay? He's not going to try this to a judge, I'm sure.
Why wouldn't he? He's had good success with judges already.
Not necessarily, bro.
He's already had great success. The Ohio Supreme Court said not worth our time.
You think he's trying to a judge,
2
bro?
years ago, a Republican Hamilton County judge said not worth our time. So he's got a good track record with judges. Why not go to judge route?
He's not. I don't think he's going to judge route, bro. I think he's going to pick a jury trap. He's going to pick a jury, from my perspective. He's going to pick a jury to hear this.
Maybe he will.
That just gives him maybe he won't. But but the reality is, going for a circle with this, man, to hell with what they're doing in Washington, D.C. I'm not really interested in Washington, D.C. Look, you set yourself up looking at D.C. to be let down because you got to do 60 votes in the Senate to do business. People need to be paying attention to what's going on locally, bro. I think we could agree on that. City council's going to have mad turnover. School board potentially could have a new majority, but getting caught up in D.C. and all that other stuff going on in D.C., we overlook what's going on right in front of our face. All politics are local. I just want to see better than 29% next time. And the people who don't live in our community need to stop misinforming our community. They really do, because they do a disservice to black folks when they tell us that we don't vote at the rate that we're supposed to. And it's just noise. All right, you take it easy.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I think it'll be above 30. I don't think anybody really cares about that text message stuff. You might got some few folks out there, some hardcore Republicans, but they're not going to vote for Greg Landsman anyway. I think the vast majority of people saw the text messaging scandal for what it was. Number one, a waste of time and taxpayer money. And then number two, a political scandal it was really about Democrats and Republicans that had really no impact to the public whatsoever. But we shall see. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan, it's Tracy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tracy. Good morning.
I'm here to tell you why you should not be at work listening to the Nathan Ivey Show.
Uh-oh.
You will not believe what just happened to me.
Whoa.
So I'm at work, and this is around when David Whitehead called. It happened around that time. So one of the things that I do at my job is I fingerprint people for a federal background check, right? So I'm fingerprinting this lady, getting ready to, and I'm entering her information and listening to you and listening about this movie. And it got to the part where I needed to fingerprint her. And I said, okay, Miss Karen, can you step up to the machine? And I just closed my eyes because her name was Samantha. And I was just like, God, I hope she just didn't think that I was trying to be funny. Like, I just had to take a moment in my head and say, Lord, please don't let this lady call somebody and say, oh, this little black woman right here was trying to be racist. She called me Karen. So I quickly composed and corrected myself and tried to change the subject and laugh about something else. I think it might have worked. She's a little young, but who knows? You know, if I call you, Nathan, and say you need some hired help over there, it's because I lost my damn job. But I tell you, I said, you know what? I need to turn Nathan off for a minute with this controversial topic because I was all in my feelings in my head because I've seen that trailer. I saw it yesterday when you were talking about it, and I can't wait till it comes out. But yeah, that's my story with, you know, listening to the Nathan Ivey show while working. Won't be doing that.
That's hilarious, Tracy.
Yes, I just wanted to tell you.
Thank you for the call and
But
the story.
Yep, have a good one.
You too. That's funny. Damn. Soon, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I might have a spot for you soon, real soon. We growing. That's hilarious. It just happens. You hear a word and then you just use it. I don't think she meant anything by it, but something would tell you. Said she was a youngish white woman. She knows what a Karen is. Hello, my daughter knows what a Karen is. So she probably was just played it off. Because sometimes, you know, people would do that. They'll hear something crazy and won't say nothing because it's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? We probably all been there before. Good morning to you. Caramel writes, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Caramel. Good morning to you. Let's go back to the phones and say good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. It's Kev on the cell.
Hey, what's up, Kev? Good morning.
So, yeah, nobody cares about those text messages. There's way too much important decisions to make. If you're going to hire or not hire Mr. Landsman again, it should be based on his record currently and any proposed legislation that he has going on. That's what we should be talking about. You know, a lot of this obfuscated stuff, man, we just need to kick it to the curb. And we're not a monolith, but we're also very intelligent people. You can watch what's happening in Washington, D.C. and still pay attention to what's happening in your neighborhood. To be honest, when it comes to us, they're not doing enough. So on every front, they're not doing enough. So if our bandwidth isn't able to handle, you know, the small couple things that they're doing for us in Washington and the small couple things that they're doing for us in the city of Cincinnati, that's a shame. This is a historical election, like you said, man. You know, if anything, right now, if you vote, it could literally chart the course of the city. I mean, it really could chart the course of the city for the next, 8 years, really, because when you think about it, the way that their turnover is, the way things turn out, you know, they're gonna be term limited right after the third term. So you really should be concentrating on the actual issues, I think. Now, that's my opinion. You might be like, hey, you know, the most important thing to me is that we get rid of the corruption down in City Hall. Okay, well, you know, bribes and things like that, that's corruption. Folks sending text messages, I don't know whether that's corruption or not, but that's not enough of a concern for me as to whether I will or will not vote for this gentleman. But what I'm looking for is platforms, man. I'm looking for substance. If your campaigns are I'm better than the other guy because I didn't get indicted, you ain't got my vote. I don't care who you are. That's stupid. But anyway, we do need to show up. You know me. I'm gonna be a soapbox, man. But I am gonna temper it a little bit because I realize it could be obnoxious, and I'm not trying to be obnoxious at all. That's a lot, but there are a few things I'm serious about, and one of them is the fact that my child is growing up here, and I have family and friends. I got a brand new great niece 2 days ago that's growing up in this city, and the policies that happen here are going to affect their lives. And we're either going to be a part of that process or we're not. And I don't care about the thing about, well, if you don't vote, you can't complain. I don't care about that at all. I don't care about whether you complain or you don't complain. None of that means anything to me. What does matter to me is that we are charting the course of the city and making sure that we are included. That's the most important thing. Now, it is what it is. If you're going to show up, you need to make sure that your voice is being heard. Make sure that you carry somebody to the polls with you. Go knock on the door for a candidate that you like. put a sign in your yard, or do like I did the last time, put a sign in everybody's yard, not just mine, but all the family members. You get a sign. I was open. You know what I'm saying? Get engaged, go out and talk to her. And I couldn't vote that time. So this time I'm going way harder than that. That was chicken feed to what I plan to do this time. You know what I mean? So we need to get engaged. We need to start putting together our platform. You can't tell people they don't do what you want them to do if you don't tell them what you want them to do. You can't be mad if your whole team is standing around and they like, we ain't got nothing to do. And you're like, well, find something. Nobody finds stuff to do. They don't do that. You have to tell them what you want. We want better parks. We want better policing. We want better schools and education. We want engagement in our schools and education for our students. We want to make sure that we are in inclusive environments when it comes to jobs and hiring. We need to make sure that we have housing that's at a level where folks can really, who are not necessarily, as well endowed with funds, can still live and thrive. We want to make sure that this is help up. All of these things are things that we need to be asking for, and we need to be coming up with ways in order to have solutions, man. And gangs of five and all of that other stuff, there are people that are entrenched in that debate that I love them. What your boys say, there are good people on both sides, but none of that matters for real. None of that matters. What really does matter is we move this city forward, and that we work as a team. We come together as a community and start talking about how do we, as a monolith, if that's what you want to call it, but really as a working group, move our agenda forward. And what is our agenda? Man, that's all I got, Nathan, man. But I want everybody to stay engaged, man. Stay engaged. We got plenty of bandwidth. And if you can't do it, if everybody can't look at everything, form some committees and have certain people look at some things and other people look at other things. There are ways to manage these processes that make them make sense and make us come out ahead. The reason why we always fall behind is because we have to be laser focused on one issue. That's not real at all. We can do two things. We could do two things at one time. Be blessed, Nathan, man.
Same to you, brother. That's Kev on the sale. Kev is in his passion, man. He feels it. He believes it. I love it. I love it. Good morning. Listen, let me take a quick break. We'll come right back. All right. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. We live, we local, we vocal, broadcasting live from beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
Hey, babe, look what hole I am in. I try not to think too much about what might have been. How nice if I just could let you in. I know you could be my remedy. How long will you keep trying? I know it's not, babe, it's not easy. I guess deep down inside, I knew you could be my remedy. trying. I know it's not, babe. It's not easy. I guess deep down inside, I know you could be my remedy. Be my remedy. Yeah, you could be. Be my remedy, yeah, yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. Just a quick break. Thank you for being here. Nate Ivy in the air chair. Let's get back to it. So this morning, I have been talking about, and I know the video's not up. We'll put it up in a second. We've been talking about this new movie. There's a trailer out called Karen. And whether you know it or not, this is trending on Twitter right now. And some people are saying, well, people are saying numerous things. Number one, they're saying that people are stealing from Jordan Peele, which, great art. Like, one of the dangers of putting out great art is that it's going to be replicated. It's going to be, if you want to call, stolen. Right? Nothing is new under the sun. Is what you do, but how it's done. Anytime you put out a good example, other people are going to try to follow it. Anytime you do something like that, and that's why you hear people say this phrase from time to time that that mimicry is the sincerest form of flattery, right? Because it's true. Like, when somebody mimics what you do, you should take that like, oh shit, I'm in the right direction. You shouldn't necessarily get upset about it, because that's just the nature of human beings, right? The inspire. That's what they do. And I don't give a damn what kind of art form you do it. If somebody go out there and do something that's dope, then at some point, somebody's going to say, I want to do that. It's just the nature of it. So if the producer, director decided to put some Jordan Peele type feel into it, if I'm Jordan Peele, I'm like, cool, go run with it, because that's just the nature of art. So I don't have a problem with that critique per se. I mean, so what if he did? Some folks are saying it's black trauma cinema. Now, black trauma cinema is like showing the prolonged suffering of black folks just to make some money off of it. Plenty of movies out there like that. Some people say these slave movies are like that, right? You just trying, it doesn't really push the culture or the conversation forward. It's primarily just showing black people suffering for the benefit of audiences. Now, I haven't seen the movie, but the trailer, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't give you my thoughts on that per se. But from the way I look at it, I don't really look at it that way. From the trailer, it just seems to me like this is social commentary. And I got to be honest with you, I like it. How many people out there are didn't mean to show that. How many people out there are horror genre fans? If you're a horror genre fans, give me a thumbs up. I am. You know, I like the genre of horror movies. I like the genre. And you know, when I see it, it becomes something that becomes very interesting. Come on in, son. What is that? It's a picture for Miss Smith. People can't see it. Show the camera right there, son. We'll pull it this. There you go. Perfect. He made this for Miss Smith, his teacher. There it is. Yes, yes. Good job, man. It's my boy right there. I made this for Miss Smith, my teacher. That's why 6-year-olds are so sweet, man. It's just a sweet, sweet age. She's the sweetest thing in the world. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It is. It is. It is. You know, most definitely. That's if you take it with the right attitude. That's the attitude you should take. You should say, aha, I'm doing something right, and keep doing that. And then the thing about it is, like I said, that's just the nature of the world. That's the nature of art. You put it out there, people gonna say, oh, I like it. And they're gonna try to do the same thing or do some variation off of what you did. That's just the nature of the world we live in. No reason to be upset about it. Tabitha writes, I believe when we educate these parents through meetings, groups, signs, and billboards, they will come out and vote. I agree with you. There's some precincts in Cincinnati that have been forgotten. Bo Ryden writes, nobody really wants to do that work. We have a committee for everyone issue, and it's hard to get people to volunteer their time and make the commitment to do the work to change our community outcome. She's right about that. She's right. Like I said, the issue is not that there aren't organized people. There's just not enough of them. And it's got a lot of concerned people that got to work every day. Then they got to deal with kids, and they just haven't made the time to volunteer or to focus on it. And so they support other people that do. You know what I'm saying? If you can't volunteer, drop $1 or $2 to your favorite, local program or pro services or whatever, or organization. Drop them a couple bucks, hit them with a $10, hit them with a 10 spot. And then these people who are organized can put your dollars to work for you and for them and for us. Do it that way. Rachel writes, I'm agreeing and giggling with Kev on the cell. It's hilarious. A classy one writes, trauma for profit shaping my head. That's not really educating people. It's easy, dirty money. Oh, she said this is easy, dirty money. Let's watch some of that dirty money again.
Somebody's taking home security serious.
Hi, I am Karen Drexler. I'm your neighbor. You need to be taking your trash cans off the curb right when the trash is picked up.
Is she nice?
Yeah, she's nice.
Wait a minute. We have a white entitled neighbor named Karen.
Karen. Okay, enjoy yourself.
There she is, slaving away in the kitchen. I've come across some very suspecting teenagers.
Suspecting?
Can you please hurry up? Please, they're very aggressive. Yep.
I left my watch.
I mean, what's scarier than the white woman on her cell phone calling the police on black kids? That's way scarier than Candyman. I don't know about you, but that's way scarier than Jason. That's way scarier than, the creature from whatever part of the world they pull the creatures from these days. I don't know. That's scary as hell. Tell me that shit ain't scary. Let me back up here. You're scaring the bejesus out of me. Hold on. Look at this. That is scary as hell. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. That is terrifying, a classy one. Again, a good horror, good sci-fi is commentary. And to me, this is social commentary about the shit we see all the time. Man, let me Google Karen right now. I'm going to Google Karen video and see what we're going to see all kind of stuff. This is what I've seen. So one day ago, go back to Asia. Drunk Karen harasses Asian Uber driver. Go back to Asia is what the Karen driver said. Or the Uber rider said. Go back to Asia. Like I said, let me see if I can pull this up for you. Hold on. Let me pull one down and pull the other up real quick. See if you can see this. It's hilarious. Drunk Karen harasses Uber driver as onlookers try to calm her down. Can you see that? All right, check this out.
This guy over here.
Hold still. Hey,
This
guys, go over there and chill out for a second. And now we need a new fucking ride. So
This people over here call me a chink and everything. I'm gonna call the cops.
What?
She cussed me out. You call me an Asian. Yeah, but
You fuck you.
this lady over here cussed me out for no reason.
I'm sorry. I just reported you to 911.
Call 911, please.
I'm gonna get these broads out of the way. I am sorry. I am sorry. All right. I am so fucking sorry.
hey,
Dude.
girls, come here. Come on.
At least somebody got some class.
Now.
I'm taking this guy's fucking insurance. No, what do you mean? I'm not gonna let this little nigger hang.
Stella, Jesus fucking Christ.
This little fucking Asian American.
No, this is completely unacceptable. Okay.
I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself. Go back to Asia. Stella, stop.
She said go back to Asia. These Karens be on one, don't they? Excuse me, F yourself, go back to Asia. You should go back to Asia. This is hilarious, man. Like I said, you can't make this up. Look, if you type in Karen viral video, just look at all the stuff that comes up on Google. You can watch it all day. You can spend the next 24 hours watching this kind of stuff. You can spend the next 24 hours watching this kind of stuff. Bo Riding writes, nobody really wants, I think I read it already. Tabitha writes, we need to organize and come together as a team. I'm with you on that. Jenny writes, same here, Tracy, doing my 2-hour Wednesday in-office stint sitting amongst the Karens. That's hilarious. Tabitha writes, we need vote, I think I read already. Let me see, Politically Patty podcast show. Now you have to add Lil Man and Tracy to the PPE loan application. Don't get Prather. Don't get Prather. Is that what we calling it now? Terrence writes, you need a work letter from Nathan. That's hilarious. Tabitha's cracking up. Charles is cracking up. Mika writes, Tracy, we got you. That was a hilarious story. And somebody writes, Tracy's back at the office? Apparently so. Politically Petty podcast show writes, tell it, Nate. Don't nobody really give a damn about some text messages. Just Smitherman acting like a political Karen, aka Caitlyn Jenner of Sissy Politics. A political Karen? You might have just coined another phrase. Blessed or Messy writes, hit the like button. I'm with you. They write, hello, on the road, but want to stop by and say hello. We are camping in Indiana Dunes State Park and had a Karen call the park ranger on us for cleaning out our vans. Black van life. Hashtag sisters with vans. Is that right? So you cleaning out your own van and a Karen calls the ranger on you. I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think if I had a run-in with a Karen. Let me think here. Nothing that really stands out. Like I had to deal with some Karens in CPS, dealing with my daughter and all that kind of stuff. Definitely some Karens that work in CPS, which is a problem. They should be rooted out. They should be dealt with or rooted out. But in my personal life, I'm trying to say if to be honest with you, I'm trying to think, like I told you, I did Uber for a little while. I might have had a run-in. Listen, I put a few people out the car. I don't play no games. In my car, it just ain't gonna happen. But I had to put a few folks out. A few of them happened to be white because they were just on some dumb ish. I'm not really sure. I guess you might say Karen, kinda. Let me think here. I'm trying to think if there's an interesting story that I can remember that I can share with you right now. Because there was one woman in particular, I had to put her out the car because she just wouldn't shut up. She kept on running her mouth. I'm like, oh, you think it's a game because it's raining? She was on the curb. Let me think about that. I'm trying to think. I know I almost broke someone's hand once. It was me and the wifey. We was at the Kroger store in Coreyville. The wifey had just got braids, I think. And I think some woman like tried to touch her braid. I was about to Gunsu Samurai chop her hand in two. Like, you know, like the wifey was some kind of animal specimen. Like, ooh, what is this? We don't play no games like that. But I didn't really have to. They backed the hell up. I'm trying to think. There's something there. I'm trying to remember my Karen story. I mean, you know, to be honest with you, the vast majority of my confrontations, sadly to say, have been with black folks in public. You know, some of these black folks that get a little too comfortable with you and you got to put them back in their place or just straight up check them. Let me think about that for a second. Let's take a phone call while I ponder it. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, man. What's going on, bro?
I'm doing great, Glenn. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I wonder if it's a YouTube Karen, a Facebook Karen that keeps calling me Facebook on the show. I heard the show yesterday.
It could have been. It could be.
You know what's Nate? What's crazy, and I was thinking about it. Way back when I was at the coroner's office, I used to have Karens call the office talking about, back then, what was it, GW from Silverton, if he's using county time to be on the phone. I don't know if I ever told you that story, but, what was his, Chuck from Montgomery. I don't know if you remember him, but, from down the Dell. Well, yeah, they did it so many times that one time they had to, summon the phone records to make sure I wasn't calling from phones, upstairs or downstairs from the morgue or the office type shit.
Wow.
I know where you're coming from. And I already told you the story about the political Karen that thought he had to call my dad because I was giving him too much heat on the radio.
Uh-huh.
I told you that story. I told you that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's real. Speaking of which, his boy, Black Uzbekistan, called in this morning and tried to justify a 29% voting rate, even from 2017. And I understand the difference between a midterm and what's quote unquote considered our city general election, where I believe the last election that we just had, there was only 15%. And issue 3 went down in flames. I think more people signed up for issue 3 than actually voted for it, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're correct on that.
Okay. Right. So, and let me say this. If we're talking about 8 seats open, because I honestly believe that Greg Lanson's going to be one of the top 9. I mean, he comes in with the glow of incumbency. The whole text message thing, out of anybody, he's probably the less tarnished out of the gang of 5. Don't you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever he's been able to finagle his way, to be, kind of above it all, but still in it all. So, those are political realities, Black Uzbekistan. But you don't want to say that because you caping for your boy. And by the way, old Smitherman, or as I call him, the Caitlyn Jenner of Cincinnati politics, he had one of his little Candace Owens, Tim Scott moments, Nate.
Oh, did he?
Last week. Oh, yeah, he played right along. He was a great American that day, Nate. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about black on black crime, and we don't want Cincinnati to turn into, you name the requisite cities, the usual suspects, Detroit, Chicago. He played that, Nate. Played that card. The black and black crime, but I must emphasize that we're talking about a small group of Americans, but, this no snitch culture shit. And like you said all the time, I don't believe that either, because who tell on black folks that are in jail right now? It's black folks, because we don't like crime. But yeah, he played that card. And just like Black Uzbekistan with his punk ass when he was on there talking about, Willie, you're a great American. They just love him. Like I say, he's a new Tim Scott. They knew Tim Scott. So, and by the way, Black Uzbekistan, whatever you say and do from this point on into the future, it's never going to take the stench off of you wearing the little medium T-shirts when you could have supported a sister. So it's kind of funny, you know, you trying to play the pro-black card, I'm down for the community stuff, when you was down there with little baby Trump with his little tight-ass shirt on outside of an NAACP meeting, to be exact, protesting with your punk ass. So, again, that's going to be a brown stain in your little tighty-whities for years to come. You going to go down in history as one dude. Years from now, we're going to say, man, you remember that one guy? What was his name? Black? Remember one dude? One cuz? That's going to be your moniker from here on out. You and your little whack-ass crew. Oh, and by the way, if you still suffering from, I don't know, repressed memories because Bob Barker said spay and neuter all pets, you probably the same little punk-ass kid that was scared of the big Indian sign, too. I mean, really, oh, my God, I got to leave the last 30 seconds of The Price is Right because he's talking about spay and neutering cats and dogs. Didn't catch that, but for whatever reason, you know, you got guys getting in on their little Smollett moments, and this is like affected them dearly. You just can't believe it. Let me also say this, Nate, just to get on the national chop shop side of politics. You're absolutely right about tangibles and about them approving something, and I agree with you, Nate. I actually, you know, follow how the sausage is made, and, you know, I was going to say I apologize for that, but that's just what I do. I'm in the national politics and locally, but I, you know, try to find out as much as possible so I can give it to the choppers. What happened yesterday was significant for this point, Nate. Yesterday, all 50 Democrat senators voted for that bill. Well, not even for the bill. It wasn't even for the bill. It was for a procedure to discuss the bill.
Right.
Like, you know, Black Uzbekistan and tell you that, yeah, it was for a procedure to discuss the bill. And Sinema and Manchin, which you rightly pointed out, are the two, you know, that seem to, you know, be on this whole filibuster tip. And I can almost see the argument about if we destroy the filibuster, what happens when Republicans get in? Because, you know, they liable to do all type of crazy shit, i.e. Arizona and the audits and the recounts and, you know, and Cyber Ninja being in control. But my point would be, and I think you agree with this, if we pass something and get rid of the filibuster, for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, I know the reason, most of the policies that Joe Biden and the Democrats are putting out there are actually popular among Democrats especially. We know that. But even among independents and Republicans. You've seen the polls, Nate. So if they have to do whatever, go through reconciliation, go to nuclear option to pass things, I don't know, that are important to our democracy like voting, then they should do it. And so I agree with you there. But the significance of the vote yesterday is that the Republicans didn't vote for Joe Manchin's bill. That's the significance of it all, because now it shows Joe Manchin like, hey, you talking all this bipartisan crap, and, you know, you sound like you're really into it, but guess what? The other side isn't, Joe. Despite, you know, all your little machinations, you think you can talk to these people, and they kind of remind you of West Virginianers. They don't really care about that stuff. So that's the significance of that, and that's what they're talking about now, because now they're saying, you know, we got more pressure putting on you now, Joe, because you can see that they really don't want to negotiate with you, let alone Joe Biden. And then I also found out that Kristen Sinema, they're putting extra heat on her at the ground level, like they're trying to do in West Virginia. But apparently Kristen Sinema comes, you know, she barely won her seat in Arizona. In the county in which she did win, Joe Biden, actually, I think he won it by 1 point. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of in the purple. But that purple is more significant than the red in her particular district, where, you know, she might catch some heat and might get challenged. And, you know, Democrats tend not to want to do that. You know, that didn't come into fashion until AOC and the squad came around and said we need to, you know, elect more progressive, left-leaning candidates. So, you know, that pressure is out there, and I'll end with this. Hey, let's not forget, man, the guy's like in 1/16 of his first 4 years. I think he's been in office, 165 days or something like that? So, you know, again, I know people don't want to hear how the sausage is made. They just want it fried up and put on a plate, you know, a couple pieces of white bread and some mustard. I get that. But, you know, it's a lot harder than it seems, and not everything's black and white. And again, y'all don't want to hear that. But whenever shit happens and whenever it comes about, you can best believe I'm going to come in here and just give you the facts. And hopefully in the end, Nate, they're getting what I'm spitting. Appreciate you taking my call, bro. Petty peace.
You too, man. Appreciate you making the call. Always a pleasure to hear from Glenn. Really, always a pleasure to hear from anybody. You know, the number is open for you to share your thoughts this morning at 513-873-71 888-866-9834. Let me see here. Jenny writes, who's a singer? Singer of what exactly? The clip? You know me, the music during the break? Oh, okay. I'll tell you what, hit me with a DM. I'll send you a link. You can check it out for yourself. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Fame.
That's wonderful. Hey, when did anybody ever make a reference about Bob Barker spaying and neutering pets?
Fame.
When did anybody ever say that Bob Barker do that?
I thought Glenn just did.
I thought his actual quote for 94 Days was, "I want to cut them boys, you know what's off."
No, he said spay and neuter. He was making a Bob Barker reference.
No, you spay and neuter domestic animals. Wolves aren't domestic.
I'm just telling you the phrase. Listen, none of this makes sense, so don't try to bring logic
It
into
makes
it
plenty
now.
of it makes
None of
plenty
this
of
shit
sense.
makes sense, Fame. You howling don't make sense, so let's not try to be all super specific now. He was just trying to say spay and neuter, just like Bob Barker.
It was some dumb-ish to say.
It was par for the course. So
From
that's
a
what I'm trying to say.
50-year-old man
it all fits.
who during his last phone call, just referenced poop stains. What kind of guy is he? Oh, you didn't hear that? Oh, that's a tidy whitey stain. That's a brown stain.
Oh, tidy whitey. Right.
Yeah, we got a 50-year-old man referencing other men's genitals and poop stains. That's your audience.
That's what you're bringing it up. I mean, that's what you're
I didn't bring it up.
on.
He brought it up.
No, actually, you bringing it up again. He said it. Now you're bringing it up.
I was all poised to leave Glenn alone.
Were you?
Because at the end of the day, I like Glenn. He just tries too hard.
Does he?
To be funny, to be relevant. He just tries too hard.
Well, let that man be
Doesn't
great.
know what he's doing.
Let that man be great.
F him. You know, I was gonna leave him alone. Like, he Black Uzbekistan, Black Delhi, Black Beach Spot. Nigga, you live in Black Mason. Since when was Mason a pillar of diversity in the community? The hell are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. If you pay attention to what he says, it never makes sense. He just talks loud. And that's why I was poised to leave him alone. Like, you know what? But since he wants to keep referencing Fame, I'll keep referencing him. Talking about what are you, a clinician now? I need medical help because you threatened my genitals? Is that where we're at now? Fake clinicians calling radio? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's all wolf howls and talking about how Brian compared pit bulls and wolves don't even pit bulls and wolves don't even compare. Wolves would rather be away from humans. No, they don't.
He's got a
point.
point.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he only has a point because you're the moderator and you say so.
Well, I mean, I have an opinion.
But in reality,
he
does not.
No,
he
in
does
reality,
not.
in fact, all the universes, he's got a point. You just don't like it.
No, he doesn't. Nathan.
Actually, he does.
The wolf is the mascot. He said black people was like pit bulls.
Nah, that's not what he said.
That is what he said, man.
That's
quit
how
trying
you
to lie for it.
interpreted it.
Quit trying to lie for him.
That's how you I told you the day you called in, the day he said it, you misinterpreted it. I'm telling you the same thing now.
No, you're just trying to protect him.
Nah, he don't need my protection.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yes, the hell he does.
Don't.
Because he's whack. All he has to do is apologize to the audience and say, hey, I did not mean to offend anybody when I compared black people to pit bulls. I thought I was spitting bars. It looks like I was whack. All he has to do is apologize unequivocally and without qualification.
Why would he apologize for something that he don't have to apologize for? That'd be stupid.
Again, audience members, were you offended being called a pit bull?
He never called the audience a pit bull.
He said black people were like pit bulls.
That's not
Your
what he
audience
said.
is black.
That's not what he said.
Nathan, quit trying to protect him.
He don't need my protection.
Quit trying to protect Lakeith Stanfield.
He don't need my protection.
He's counterintelligence. He's counterintelligence.
That's counterintuitive.
He's counterintelligence.
That's counterintuitive. That makes no sense.
No, he is. He's counterintelligent.
No, it's counterintuitive. I'm telling you, it doesn't make any sense. I hear you're entitled to your opinion, but it don't make sense.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you disagree. No, I feel sorry that you disagree. It's sad that you disagree. Such a smart man that you want to protect such bullshit.
I gotta keep it real, man.
You're not keeping it real.
I'm keeping it 1,000.
B.
You're not keeping it real because you have feelings about Brian.
B.
And your feelings are coming out in your flows. That's what I'm saying. I'm here. Let me finish what I'm saying. I'm here, B. But that's what's going on. You got a problem with Ryan, and so it keeps coming up.
I have a problem with what he said, and not only did when he said that, he put my name in it. That's what really chaps my ass, that he put my name in it.
It was last year sometime. Why you still care about it?
September? Because he's never apologized.
Oh, he's
he
sensitive
owes
like
his
that.
audience an apology.
Don't be
he
sensitive.
owes the audience an apology.
No, you don't speak for the audience.
Want.
You only speak for yourself. You feel like he owes you an apology.
Trust me, the greater good of your audience was not impressed by that. They were actually pissed.
They probably don't even remember it.
They just didn't want to say anything because they don't want to be called homophobes. Oh, see, now the baby in the room. We can't really talk. Listen. Two things, okay? One, we missed a very important. First of all, I'm not going to go watch that movie, that Karen's movie. It's black trauma. I'm not going to go watch that. You know, capitalizing, striking while the iron is hot off of black trauma. You know, half of full woke black America will go watch that movie. Dude's going to make tens of millions of dollars yet again, capitalizing off black pain. You know, him, your Angela Rye, your Sean Kings, your Al Gerhard Steens, these people have grown tired. The people that make money off black pain. You know, I've had my fill of them. Okay? So don't go watch that movie.
So what's the difference between black pain, trauma, and capitalize off of it, and then media that reports what's happening? What's the difference between exploiting it and reporting it?
Media reporting local news?
No, I'm talking about media like this movie that takes real life circumstances and blows it up on film. Like, don't you always say blow up the negative so you can see the bigger picture? Isn't that what they're doing?
Yes. No, they're not.
Oh,
they're making a buck. They're making what law is going to get changed with it?
That's not really the point.
That is the point.
That is not
the point to change some damn laws.
The point of art is not to change laws. Please stop it. That is not the point of art.
A good artist will win a Pulitzer.
Art is about communicating things to people, right? Using that art form.
Listen. No, a good artist, writer, movie maker, whatever, will win a Pulitzer because it helped change laws.
No, that's not.
That is a fact. You cannot run from that.
No, it's not.
Everything's not the same when your point is wrong.
We can't judge every movie off based whether it's going to change a law. That's absolutely ridiculous, man. Stop it.
A racial movie you can, because we've seen them all. We've seen every movie, every topic about race. We've seen them all. Is this coming with legislative backing?
It don't need to come with legislative backing. That's a ridiculous standard to attach to a movie. Please stop.
How's it a ridiculous standard? Are the standards that black people face not ridiculous?
Let me ask you a question.
It's ridiculous that a white woman can call
the movie Malcolm X, starring Denzel Washington.
It was a biopic.
Was it showing black pain?
That was a biopic.
I'm just saying, was it showing black pain?
Actually, it was showing black. Actually, it was very uplifting.
Okay, it was. I see
that wasn't black pain at all.
It was uplifting, but it didn't change any laws, though, did it?
It changed mentalities.
It didn't change any laws. So that's my point.
It changed mentalities.
Good art, a good film can still have an impact without changing some laws. Man, we just making shit up as you go along this morning. You need to stop.
No, I'm not. You're making stuff up as you go along.
That makes no
movie
sense
has
whatsoever.
There's no need to go watch this movie. We've seen all this crap. Get Out. What was the movie when they was on a boat? That Ain't Us or whatever it's called. Us or whatever it's called. Where the black dad wasn't shit. got hurt early and couldn't help his family. That was the subcontext of that movie, that black men can't protect their families. Big ass, swole up dude got hurt early, sitting there on a boat with his legs crossed because he can't move and can't protect his family. Be aware of these counter agents. Jordan Peele, Angela Rye, Brian Taylor. Be aware of these people. They're not here for us.
You are wild, man. You are hilarious.
No, I ain't wild. I'm speaking facts.
Yeah,
And
okay, you are.
You missed, and the day after Juneteenth, we missed the 25th year anniversary of one of the most important moments in pop culture history. June 20th, 1996, Hulk Hogan joined the NWO at Bash at the Beach 96. All them little kids in the audience were crying. There were tears everywhere. Even adults were crying.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we missed it, bro. Damn, how we do that?
We
Should be a
missed
federal
celebrating
holiday.
that. That was an important day.
And here we are caught up with the federalization of Juneteenth as a holiday.
Because
Damn.
it shows
Silly
because
us.
it showed me as a man, quit living up to everybody else's expectations and do you. And that's what Hulk Hogan did. He got tired of the golden boy image. Prayers, training, and vitamins. And said, nah, the hell with that. I want to do me. I don't like this wrestler. You understand me? But, let's go on and watch another fictional account of a goofy movie that's going to serve no purpose. Entertain you for 2 hours, then what? You're going to stream it a year later? Whoop-de-damn-do. How about changing some damn laws? We've seen every movie. You got clout in Hollywood, Mr. Keegan. Why don't you try to change some laws?
Go
This
to
movie's
Hollywood to change some
unnecessary.
laws. Okay, that makes
This
sense.
movie is unnecessary. If you
It's
want to
very
watch it, I'm not
necessary.
condemning it. I'm not condemning anybody that watches. Hey, whatever entertains you, entertains you. I don't watch wrestling every day, but every now and then, about twice a year, I'll sit down and catch it. I have to ask my nieces, nephews, or my son, like, hey, who is that? Who is that? Oh, damn, that was a hell of a move. They're doing that now? Wow. But for the most part, I don't watch it because it's mindless. You know what I'm saying? It's mindless banter and mindless entertainment. We've had our fill of that. It's time for black folk to get serious. We don't have to condone this crap, these movies. Start making movies about substance. A racist white neighbor, hell, glimpse that lives that every day. Make a movie about substance for once, Keegan, where the black man is an actual strong character. Oh, and before I got one more thing for you, because the howling ain't gonna never leave, because that's our mascot. Oh!
Appreciate the call. We'll go ahead and rack him. That man is nuts. What is he? Most of the audience don't even remember what you're talking about with Brian Taylor. They don't remember that conversation. It was so insignificant. But, whatever, man. Whatever you need to do to get through this show. I appreciate you being here. So he says that it's black trauma and that for the movie to have any significance, it's got to change laws. How many people agree with that? Every movie is supposed to change a law? I mean, that's a ridiculous burden, in my opinion. Good art is supposed to do what? Inspire. That's it. That's it. Nothing more than that. But what do you think? Charles writes, it's scary because of what could and has happened. Right. Tabitha writes, the real horror is what we can't whoop them, is that we can't whoop that A for them calling us names. Lisa writes, the audacity. How TF are you in someone else's car being Brody? Tiffany writes, if this is what we're calling horror movies now, well, that's what I like about it. I like the fact that it's called a horror movie because I think it perfectly positions the experience of black people that come in contact with these Karens. What made Jason so scary? That he might take your life. And these Karens calling the popo on black folks could end the same way. That's why it's scary. I like the way that they're painting, quite honestly, the racists. I'll be honest with you. I think that, you have a bad run-in with the police because a Karen lies on a 911 call saying you being overly aggressive. They roll down on you and treat you like you've killed somebody already and been convicted. That's a horror movie. What happened to Emmett Till is a horror movie. Just think about this, family, because, we being kind of light with it, but real talk, when we talk about the over-incarceration of black and brown bodies, we can only speculate how many Karens are behind that over the years in this country. I mean, there was a time when a white woman screamed, "Help," and a black man was close, that black man's ass was done. You done for. It's a wrap for you. String them up, string them up, string them up. You flash forward, everybody know you got members of law enforcement all over the country that's not A1. We'll put it that way. Some even use the term race soldiers. They just looking for a reason to roll down on you and use their police powers. Now, if that ain't a horror story, being run through the American justice system, potentially, being run through asphalt and then thrown into the back of a police cruiser because somebody said something, I don't know what is, quite honestly. Terrence writes, this movie reflects upon the microcosms and microaggressions that people face some daily. Maybe this movie will get people to look at themselves and slow the hell down on how they treat people. Could be. Tabitha writes, this movie is going to create copycats before anything else. Really? Like copycat Karens? I don't know if I see that per se. I don't know if I see copycat Karens. Either you're a Karen or you're not. Not every white woman is a Karen, but all Karens are white women. Maybe. Because we talked to David Whitehead, and he said he had a run-in with a black Karen, all nosy, all in his yard, telling him what she think he's supposed to do about his yard and all this kind. Like, what the hell? I asked the question earlier, are there black Karens? And we know there are, because I think it was in, we talked about the story yesterday, the black dude wanted to be a citizen, did a citizen's arrest on some shoplifters. The police roll up, they see him, gun drawn on a couple. He don't drop his gun fast enough, they shot him dead on the streets. So much for being a Karen. So much for doing the right thing. Brandy writes, you ain't lying, Nate. Scary as hell. Yeah, I don't know about you, but that's scary as hell to me. This is your worst nightmare. You go through all them student loans, you work hard, maybe you start a brand or something like that, it takes off. Now you can afford to get you a big house in the cul-de-sac. $600,000-$700,000. Got a big old backyard. Got a river and stream in your backyard, all this kind of shit. Got a finished basement and everything. Got a 2-car garage, got a big old chandelier when you walk in. Got a pool table. And next door, you got a Karen making your life as miserable as possible because her racist ass is thinking you're going to bring down the neighborhood. And all you want to do is just chill. Enjoy your new home. Enjoy your family. Tabitha writes, it is a movie like this with Sam Jackson being a black Darren. Sam Jackson, is it? Yeah. I think, and he was messing with the interracial couple or something like that. It was an interracial couple and he was all in his feelings about it. It's like, why do you care about what they doing in their home? I don't give a damn. Cass is in the house. He writes, Terrence, it sounds nice, but if all the movies about racism and slavery weren't graphic enough to make folks change, this won't either. make folks change. I don't know. I don't know. Two beer Melanie Bates action. Two beer. Melanie Two Beer Bates. That is too funny, man. Melanie Two Beer Bates. Is that what she said when she called the show? I only had 2 beers. Over here bad mouthing the Walnut Hills parents. You don't care about the grandparents. You don't care about the teachers. But now she got the nerve to, oh my God, sweet black baby Jesus, please let me moderate one of the, I might have to do one ourselves from CDM because I want to be the moderator for the school board because I can't wait to talk to Melanie Bates about her and herself. It's going to be classic. I'm telling you. It's going to be so not Cincinnati polite, but it's going to be so real at the same time. Oh my God. Melanie Two Beer Bates. She got the nerve to be running for re-election. If that ain't privilege, I don't know what is. Everybody in Cincinnati knows she need to step the hell off of the school board, but what's she going to do? I guess she'll have no relevance then, right? She'll have nothing to live for. How the hell can she fix her face to say vote for me? And you don't care about the parents, you don't care about the grandparents, you don't care about the whining ass teachers during the height of COVID, no less. Now, how's she gonna explain that away? I'll tell you how. She gonna go to one of these weak ass media platforms, with weak ass talk show hosts that are not built for the realness. That's not going to hold her accountable, that's not going to ask follow-up questions, going to try to be friends and not talk about what needs to be talked about. That's how you do it in Cincinnati. That's what they've been doing in Cincinnati. And it works pretty well. Oh, man. Brandy writes, thank goodness for social media so we can now know what's always taking place. Shaking my damn head. She is so right. Can you imagine what the 80s was like? Can you imagine what the 70s was like? Before the advent of all this technology, these Karens was on another one. But see, back then, they was getting away with it. It was working like a charm. Oh, police, the black man. The popo roll down on you and treat you like you have murdered, lots of people. And they get the quiet satisfaction. That's why they do this, because they grandmamas did this, they aunties did this. It's in them. They know they can get away with it in some cases. Charles writes, straight Asian hate. Why hasn't this white one been arrested? Didn't a bill just pass protecting Asians from such things? LMAO. That's right. You talking about the Uber driver incident. I was thinking about my Uber days, and I was thinking about whether I had to deal with a Karen. And I will say that when people get to drinking, they can change. And then when people get to drinking, they get around like they friends, they think they got you outnumbered, they'll change. Man, I stopped the Uber many a time and check everybody like, we ain't doing this or y'all can get the hell out. And it's funny because some people get real quiet, some people get jokey with you, some people like to challenge you, but like I said, I was the nicest Uber driver you could ever have. Whip immaculate. But I roll like that before that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't rolling in no dirty whips. I don't give a damn what model it is. It's going to be immaculate, right? But there's a limit to everything. And I'm just not the one to be disrespected in my house or in my car. It's just not going to end well. It's just not going to end well. So I had a couple things like that, but I can't remember nothing racist. Nothing overtly racist I can remember. Maybe there was something I just can't remember right now, but it is what it is. If you're just tuning in, good morning to you. That clip right there is one of the scariest things you're ever going to see. I think it's hilarious. Jordan writes, CPS doesn't get rid of Karens. They just switched them from different schools. Julie Sellers protests Karen teachers. I know Julie Sellers. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying I've come in contact with a few Karens. In one case, the principal came in and handled it at work. In the other case, they didn't give a damn about what the Karen did whatsoever. So again, what I've learned about CPS is it really depends on the attitude of the leadership. If the leadership has the right attitude, they don't be playing no games. It ain't gonna happen. But if they got one of these, oh well, let's talk about it, and yeah, you may be misunderstood, making excuses for bad behavior, it ain't a whole lot you can do about it. Because you can't go to the school board. And in most cases, you're not going to get close enough to the superintendent or either the assistant superintendent. It's going to be hell trying to get them on the phone. So you're pretty much stuck. And CPS doesn't really have a phone number or some kind of 1-800 line you can call that they really check on a regular basis. They got a number you can call, but I don't think anybody's really checking on it and follow up on it. So they probably need more investigators like CCA did. Give them money. Good morning, Nate and the Choppers, checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good to see you, Brent. Cash Rice, I feel you, but I also feel like people know that they won't want to be treated how they treat others. I just don't think a movie is going to make people change. I'm with you on that. I don't think a movie is going to make people change like overnight. I think that there is an element then that can be touched by good cinema. Right, just like a documentary. Like you could have a full-on Karen documentary and chart it from Emmett Till all the way up to what's happening right now. And you can have some people that watch it and won't be moved whatsoever. You can have other people who watch it and they will be touched by it. And then there's a percentage of the people that's touched by it that will actually be moved by it to actually do something. It's just, I think that's how media is, period. Pat writes, late but here. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good to see Black Uzbekistan, right? Alicia writes, the Cincy School Board is your Facebook, Karen. Keep exposing them, Nathan. It could be. It could be, because like I said, I ain't make no friends with the school board. It's members of the school board. Like the ones that is about their business and really care about what they're doing, they don't give a damn. It's all good. They'll take it like, okay, it's going to make me a better public servant. But it's the others that you got to worry about. Brent writes, Greg is good people. Call it Greg Landsman. I believe that Greg, nobody's perfect, but I think that Greg is good people too. And again, like I said yesterday, I like Greg Landsman on city council. I do. I think that he is going to help move the city in the right direction. I feel the same way about Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. I wish that Tamaya Denard was still on council and not in federal prison right now. I think that she was good for the city, and I think that she was good for Black people in the city. I think that PG Sittenfeld he made a good choice. And we'll wait and see what they do with the next term. We'll have to wait and see. Terrence writes, the ticket is tarnished. The party is actually kind of fractured right now. Nat writes, I won't be following the recommended Dem slate for council. I'm not here to make any endorsements. We're a media platform, so we're open to Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And since I've been doing the show online, I've worked with Democrats, Republicans, and independents on their, promoting their campaign. So we're open to everybody. What I will say is that there's one thing that is really noteworthy, is actually historic about the Democrat slate, and that is, for the first time in my lifetime, perhaps ever, they are endorsing a majority Black Democrat slate. And I like that. I like it a lot. I like it a whole lot. Now, not all skin folk is kinfolk. So let's not get tricked and charmed into thinking that just because we see a lot of melanin, that means that every last one of them is going to be down for the causes that the general Black part of Cincinnati is in favor of. But I like what I'm seeing so far. So I'm looking forward to talking with all of the candidates. That's just my opinion. That's from a far opinion. So you got to make your own opinion about things as well. We know that. Yeah, Jesse's in the house. Good morning to you, Jesse. Appreciate your support, man. Bo Riding writes, don't tell me Smitherman still preaching the archaic no snitching to Black people. He might have. I mean, Smitherman doing Smitherman. He winning over there. Smitherman is winning. And Stephanie Summerall Dumas better get ready, because she's going to have a fight on her hands. The reason why Smitherman, and I saw this years ago, we all saw this, I put it out there. The reason why Smitherman's over there brown nosing with the 700 WLW crowd is because he's laying the groundwork for what'll be a future political campaign. And he understands the dynamics. He understands that. You know, that's the reason why he turned his back on black media, because he found a bigger platform. Simple as that. And from where I sit, so far, it seems like it's working. Terrence writes, that is true, but black people are the ones feeling most disenfranchised right now, not to mention the fracture between corporate Dems and those not. It may run deeper this year than people think. Brent writes, that Democratic slate is terrible for our community. Really, Brent? Tell me more. Cass writes, with your punk ass, right? Brent writes, I'm going to Columbus tomorrow to protest 294. What about what's about to drop with 2 additional bills regarding CRT? That's critical race theory. Good morning to you. Jay Ross writes, why did Fame seem so darn angry? Fame, do you like black people? No, he don't. He don't like black women. He don't like black men. He only likes himself. And he's very sensitive. Very sensitive. Brent writes, Fame, you are not a damn wolf. I had to tell him, like, don't try to use logic now. We've been in the land of, you know, dumb-ish all this time, just having some fun with it. I'm cool with it, but don't try to get all super real with me now. And we talking about a grown man that howls like a wolf. Now, I'm here for it. I like it because it all adds to the texture of the show. I'm here for it, but don't get all serious, super serious with me, wolf man. Stop it. Politically Petty Podcast Show says, I'm in his head. He could be. Terrence writes, y'all need to go out and have a beer together. Man, I know both those brothers. They'll go out, have a beer together, and leave best friends. Brandy writes, I'm weak. Andrea writes, whatever that means. Terrence writes, LMAO, nay, stir in the pot. I was just a little bit. I mean, that's my job. Dale writes, Nate gets a kick out of this Fame drama. I mean, I won't say kick. I mean, you know, I put on a show every day. He adds to the tapestry of the show. I mean, I'm completely transparent about that. This show will never just be about politics. You know, we got to have interesting, you know, folks other than myself to have some fun with the show. So Brent writes, this beef between you guys is hilarious. It is. Jay Rose writes, well, did Fame apologize for calling that guy gay? And he said he wasn't? Right. Good point. Charles writes, no drop is the mascot. So you're wrong by that. Man. Jay Rose writes, I don't need an apology. Right. Brent writes, Ralph Tresvant is in rare form this morning. That's hilarious. I need a man with sense. You need a man with sensitivity. A man like me. I might even get that. And then when Fame calls in on that sensitive-ish or anybody, I just play that. You know what? Mental note. Brent writes, art is exposure. Jay Rose writes, there's no difference. Hence the reason why we as black people are so traumatized. Media is exploiting the pain and deaths of black people. So where's that line, Jay Rose? Where's the line between exploitation and documentation? Where's the line between exploitation and documentation? Where is that line? Where is that line? Brent writes, art is the imitation of life. Somebody writes, ridiculous, this guy. That's G-Man. Dale writes, he really wants Angela Rye. He does. He does. Brent writes, it makes no sense to argue logic with someone who is obviously devoid of logic and reasoning. Tabitha writes, watch all 5 Hidden Color documentaries. Right. All dope, by the way. Ayana writes, too funny. He was hurt in the boat. Brent writes, Us was a terrible depiction of our culture. It didn't change any laws. Richard writes, gotta go in this conversation. Tracy writes, what? Beth writes, nuts. G. Birch writes, Grand Risings, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you, G. Birch. G. Birch writes, what's the movie Karen supposed to be about? I'll check out the trailer. It's about a black family that moves into what appears to be a really, nice neighborhood and big old house. And one of their neighbors named Karen becomes obsessed with them. I guess she feels like they're going to ruin the neighborhood and just starts messing with them. Brent writes, it's horrifying. Justice system or legal system. Dwight writes, no sound. Well, hopefully not. See, Brian writes, they thought a young black girl stole a doll from a dollar store, chased down the car, and came upon the car, guns blazing. Of course, nothing was stolen, but that's horrifying. Nat writes, I heard Melanie Two Beard Bates was the Karen who keeps reporting you on Facebook. She could be. Dwight says he has no sound. Dwight, I'm sorry to hear that. Jordan writes, Dr. Kareem Moffitt for school board. Just Teach writes, fame, he's gonna live forever. Shantae writes, all these Karens and Aarons, white, Sharons and Darrens, black, need their own little neighborhood so they can go tell on one another. Is that right? Drops in the house. Good morning, choppers. The black divide is real in the chop shop. Any questions? Hashtag you ain't black or you're hashtag black not Democrat. Hashtag what do you have to lose? Hashtag BND. Shout out to the alt middle and their affiliates. And there's a little bitty wolf there. Like wolf. J. Rose writes, is Karen just a remake of Them? I think it's an updated version of Them. That's what it appears to be. Without because Them had some other shit that was going on. So I don't know, but there was like flashbacks and stuff. It's an updated, contemporary, linear sort of fictional movie, but the same theme. Black people coming to the neighborhood, white people got a problem with it. So who's not unaccustomed to that? So let me talk about this again real quick. The GOP filibuster blocks the Democrats on their big voting rights bill. Essentially what it did is stop the conversation about the voting rights bill, which essentially does the same thing. So now the Democrats are going to have a big conversation over the rest of the summer about whether they need to end the filibuster. The problem with that is two Democrat senators. One is from Arizona, the other Sinema from Arizona, and Manchin from West Virginia. Okay. It was a 50-50 vote after Republicans. Some of them derided the bill as Screw the People Act. Essentially, the Republicans all over the United States, where they have Republican majorities and also Republican governor, they have passed what they call sweeping voter measures that essentially are going to make it more difficult for people to vote. Okay, that's why they voted against moving forward with any further conversation about the For the People Act, because the federal legislation would have undone what they've put in place in the individual states. And if you're the Republican Party, they don't roll like that. They're a squad. They all work together. And so that's the reason why. Okay, the Republican Party has said, you know what? If we can't win on ideas, then we're going to legally rig the system so we can beat you in the individual states. They want to be the Harlem Globetrotters to the Democrats' Washington Generals. That's what the overall grand scheme and plan is, and they're close to it. Some would say they already did it. So I want to maybe make sure you got a heads up on what was happening on that end. And with that, I got to make a move, family. I know it's a little bit earlier before 10 a.m., but I got some things I got to attend to. I really appreciate you being here. All right. Thank you for checking out the show this morning. Please subscribe if you're just coming across the show. If you like this kind of talk show, please hit me with a subscription. I really appreciate you. And when you see it on Facebook, please like and share it. Have an excellent rest of your day, and we'll talk real soon. All right. Don't forget our motto: winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm out.
Mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a f, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a f, I don't care. Did the by my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get him, I got him, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, got them feelings, I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all my spot at the feast.